Manchester United under Ineos are making moves. And I honestly am worried about Manchester United. Genuinely am worried. They look a team that's identifying their targets and getting their transfer business done early. And this Man United team, I'm telling everyone, is going to be completely different to what we saw last Premier League season. This video, we're going to break down Man United's transfer plans. We're going to break down how that team is going to play. So make sure you get down, drop a like if you haven't already. We are closing in on 10,000 subscribers. Now, when Sir Jim and co bought a minority stake in Manchester United, it took forever to get the deal through. And a lot of people were losing patience and didn't really know how their plans were going to turn out. They've signed Eric Ten Hag down to a contract extension. Of course, he won the FA Cup last year. In terms of their Premier League season, it was a very, very poor season. They had more shots on their goal than Derby County did when they went down into the Championship for record low points. Now, this Man United team, what they're building and what this new ownership are doing is completely different to anything we've seen since post Fergie. They've got footballing people at the top now making footballing decisions. The likes of Mason Greenwood, the likes of Harry Maguire and Lindelof will all be sold. New faces, Joshua Zirkzee, Matthias de Ligt, Lenny Yoro, Ugarte. Manchester United, if they can get the balance in that midfield right and add a couple more players for their firepower, I'm not saying Manchester United are going to challenge by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am going to say is the Man United team that you're going to see next season is going to be a completely different outlet to what we've seen in recent years. They've brought in the likes of Dan Ashworth and footballing people at the top now. And you can see that that's reflecting on the club with smart signings. Manchester United at this moment in time have just agreed personal terms with Manuel Ugarte at PSG, who, fortunately for Manchester United, he has the same agent as Lenny Yoro, Jorge Mendes. Now, you can always tell when a football club makes a smart signing because a lot of rival fans get extreme. There's a lot of salt on the timelines. There's a lot of salt on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter. Rival fans are fuming. Fabrizio Romano has said last night, Manchester United have agreed on personal terms with Manuel Ugarte. Contract terms discussed, player keen on moving to Manchester United without Champions League football. Club-to-club talks continue with PSG as more clubs also inquired. Same agent as Lenny Yoro. Now, Man United have needed a DM for, in my opinion, a long time now. I personally believe they need an out-and-out number 6 who can just sit and protect that back line at all cost. Will Ugarte be that guy? We will have to wait and see. Now, with Ugarte, what sort of player is he? He is a lone 6 who can obviously play in a double pivot. He made his name in Portugal. Then he got his big money move to PSG. But like a lot of players, it didn't really work out for him. He is only 23 years of age. His out-and-out position is a central midfielder, kind of plays in the double pivot. But I think in this role at Man United, he could play quite well as a lone 6. Now, he only joined PSG back in July 7th, 2023, 50 million euro fee from Sporting Lisbon. Manchester United a couple of days ago announced Lenny Yoro, and there was a club announcement yesterday from the club admin coming out saying that he is now a Manchester United player. Just go through the comments. The amount of salt regarding Manchester United signing a teenager is unbelievable. The biggest club in England, in my opinion. If this sleeping giant wakes up, now they've got footballing people at the top. If they can fix that 11, give Eric Ten Hag a bit more time, I'm worried. 2 or 3 years' time, we could see them in a title race. That's what Ineos' plan is. They've signed Lenny Yoro, and before that, they've also signed Joshua Zirkzee. Now, what is going to be Manchester United's best 11? I've kind of made a lineup so far. Now this could change. I've made a lineup of what I think Man United could play the first game of the season. Now, of course, this could change. Joshua Zirkzee could play in the striker role. Man United could bring another signing in. But this lineup on paper, you got the attacking brilliance in the fullbacks of Luke Shaw and Diego Dallo. You got Martinez, who's just won the Copa America, who had a fantastic Copa America campaign. You got Ugarte, who can play there in the lone six. But I think you could see a double pivot of Ugarte and someone else. Bruno will be in the 10. We know how brilliant he is for Manchester United when it comes to his goal contributions. Then you got a front three that Man United could quite easily mix and match. Right, Greenwood's just been sold, so that's £25 million of 100% profit. It's a big season for Marcus Rashford this year and Rasmus Højlund. If Højlund doesn't perform, there's a striker out there waiting in Joshua Zirkzee. And Alejandro Garnacho obviously had a very good season last year with Manchester United. This team on paper, I think, gets into the Champions League. The only question mark I have is there enough firepower there? Rashford, we know some of his inconsistencies. He can have a 25 goal a season. Then the following year, he can only have a 10 goal a season. Rasmus Højlund, I think it will benefit him with Joshua Zirkzee coming in. I also think it benefits with the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in into Manchester United. You know, when you look at that backline, Onana, very good goalkeeper, and the backline for me is probably the strongest part of that team. Now, a lot of people are going to say Lenny Yoro, he's only 18, he's soon to be 19. Does he have what it takes? It doesn't matter. He played around 40 odd games or 42 games last year, in France. So he is going to be prepared for a lot of football. Plus, Manchester United next season are in 4 competitions. They're in the Premier League, they're in both domestic cups, League Cup and FA Cup, and they're in the Europa League. So squad rotation for Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United is going to be extremely key here. Now, Harry Maguire and Lindelof are 2 players that are up for sale, according to reports. Now, Manchester United probably, in my opinion, need to bring in one more centre back, and that centre back is going to be Matthias de Ligt. Manchester United are on the verge of getting him done. The deal, in principle, is there. He only wants Manchester United, according to Fabrizio Romano. A lot of people are giving United fans stick for this signing. I think it's a clever signing. You're talking about a player that's got experience in the Bundesliga, in the Serie A, has played under Eric Ten Hag before. To my knowledge, is still the youngest ever Dutch captain, has a good amount of trophies under his belt. He's won Scudettos, he's won Bundesligas. He didn't play a single minute at Euros for the likes of Netherlands. They've got the likes of De Vrij, Van de Ven, Virgil van Dijk, Ake. They've got a very well balanced defense in Netherlands, but that doesn't mean anything. Matthias de Ligt now, his contract expires in 2027. Manchester United are on the verge of bringing him through as well. So that will be Matthias de Ligt, that will be Joshua Zirkzee, Lenny Yoro, and Manuel Ugarte. Arsenal have not signed a player yet. Liverpool have got FSG trending out. Tottenham have signed Archie Gray, my club, which I think is a very smart signing. Chelsea have signed a bunch of kids. Aston Villa have let go of Douglas Luiz and signed Maatsen and Onana. Man United are moving in the shadows, and I honestly believe next season we are going to see a different Manchester United. It's a different time now. You've got people at the top who the one thing that Sir Jeff has brought in is right now in terms of their Sir Jim, not Sir Jeff. Sir Jim has brought in is Dan Ashworth's come in onto the board, onto the directors of football up there. And straight away, he's brought in 4 players that change Manchester United next season. Plus Mason Greenwood. And if Jadon Sancho gets sold, that's £60 million of pure profit goes against their FFP. Now, Fabrizio Romano said yesterday that Marseille have announced the likes of Mason Greenwood. He is now an a Marseille player. That deal happened yesterday, £25 million total profit. And PSG, according to Fabrizio Romano, are prepared to let Manuel Ugarte join Manchester United, and they are now looking at Joao Neves, and they want him at all costs. Manchester United and PSG still in talks over Ugarte. I think this deal probably will be wrapped up in the next 24 hours. And then for Manchester United, it's then going to be focusing on the likes of Matthijs de Ligt, and then a few other players I think potentially could be on the way out. Now, in terms of outgoings, Casemiro and Scott McTominay are also on the list. The Sun are reporting Scott McTominay is wanted by West Ham and Tottenham. Casemiro is wanted by Saudi Arabia. It's a few clubs over there. I think Casemiro doesn't have the legs to get up and down now, and Ugarte is keen on the move. So if the likes of Harry Maguire, if the likes of Lindelof, Casemiro, Scott McTominay, Jadon Sancho and Mason Greenwood leave Manchester United, and they've brought in De Ligt, Ugarte, Lenny Yoro, Matthijs De Ligt, Joshua Zirkzee, it puts them in a very, very, very strong position going into next season. And when you look at Man United's friendlies, they've got a game tomorrow against Rangers, and then they play Arsenal on Sunday, the 28th of July. Then they play Real Betis. Then they play Liverpool. It's actually going to be a very good pre-season. And then before you know it, it's the Community Shield, Manchester City against Manchester United on the 10th of August. So at least their pre-season, they're playing English teams like Liverpool and Arsenal. Real Betis will still be a tough game as well. And Rangers, it's another good side. I've been very critical of pre-season for a lot of teams because, in my opinion, they don't get tested as much as they should do. But Man United right now, I think, are going to be very, very strong next season, and they're going to surprise a lot of people. Let me know your thoughts down below on Man United's transfer plans. Let me know your thoughts on Jadon Sancho and Mason Greenwood leaving. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel. I will see you all on the next one. Thank you all for watching. I am out.